everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, checking in with a weekly garden tour. Today is Saturday. It's like 11:30 in the morning as I'm filming this, which means that 1 week from now we are going to be in the throes of preparing for the Fall Open Garden champagne toast and greenhouse ribbon cutting. I am super excited. Right now the forecast is looking cloudy, but not raining. Fingers crossed, please send me some good vibes for good weather, because we have such an awesome open garden set up with incredible vendors. Free Tag Pottery, David Sabio will be here selling hummingbird swings. Weston Farms will be here selling gorgeous magnolia wreaths and garlands. And of course, my favorite company of all time, Charleston Shoe Company, is going to be here doing a pop-up shoe sale, which I have been dreaming about for many, many years. I can't believe it's actually coming to fruition. I also just got super exciting news that the awesome folks who built the greenhouse, 3 Trees and a Coop, are going to have their wedding here. They're going to use the greenhouse as their wedding venue, which is something that I kind of have been envisioning for small weddings. This is a 55-person wedding, so not a gigantic venue, but appropriately sized. And I just could not be happier than to be able to offer that to them. This is like the biggest project they've ever done, and for them to be able to use it for their wedding is just super meaningful. And I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. So there's so much to share. The gardens are looking great. We got 2.5 inches of rain yesterday. We have more rain in the forecast, and well, that's great. That just means everything's going to be green and lush as we welcome visitors on Saturday, September 21st from noon to 4 p.m. So without further ado, let me turn this camera around and show you everything that's growing. Well, the front border is looking awesome. It really has looked great all summer long, but you can see how tall and full and lush. And actually, it's really kind of fun. The cotton is starting to open. It's starting to have actual cotton balls. So for those of you who don't live in the South, where you might not have cotton as one of your agricultural components, this is actually what cotton looks like from the plant. So it's literally the fiber, and then the seeds are inside of it. I really like keeping these all attached, and then the foliage will fall off and all of these will puff open, and I love using them for decoration. But I'm absolutely thrilled that some of my burgundy leafed cotton grew out so well. I've actually got it scattered all throughout this bed. You just can't really see all of it, but this one here really does catch your eye. So when you visit next week, you should be sure to look out for the cotton balls. And it's definitely dahlia season here, and these dahlias have all been perennial. So this is the first time this one has bloomed, and I think my friend Sarah actually gave me this as a seedling. And it's, they tend to be a bit sprawly. I didn't really get this one trimmed down as well as I could have, but that's okay. It's filling in this gap nicely. I've managed to keep a walkway through the back side of this bed, and I really enjoy looking at the bed from this point of view. Sometimes with larger borders, it's nice to be able to have 2 vantages. I wanted to get in here and show you another really pretty dahlia that's just started to bloom right here. Look how beautiful that is with that gomphrena. And a lot more dahlias coming. I see some flower buds forming, so we should have more open next week. Now, I see a lot of broken branches on the salvia, and I know exactly what it's from. Her name is Sophia, and she is obsessed with getting grasshoppers. So she keeps jumping up and breaking salvia branches off. And look at these fabulous flowers. I'm gonna have to make a flower arrangement from her carnage. This is one of the things, gardening with cats. Cats can be very destructive, as can deer, and all animals. All animals can be destructive, let's face it. So I did remove one Cleome in here because it wasn't really looking that pretty, and I wanted the Crinum to get a little bit more sunlight. Again, you can see where she's been jumping and crushing leaves and stuff, but hopefully in the next week or so, some things will fill in here and you won't have this funny looking hole. But overall, I'm so pleased with how this front border has turned out. I like that it's more organized than it usually is. And I think that is an important thing to acknowledge, that my planting style can evolve over time. And, well, I really like this burgundy and white combination. The buckwheat that I seeded to fill in the gaps, you know, after I weeded this, has definitely done its job. You can see it's blooming. Lots of pollinators are attracted to buckwheat. It's such an easy plant, just to toss the seeds down, walk away. And you know, this border definitely needs some proper renovation, which we will do this winter. But for now, it looks better than it did, especially with those hollies being gone. And well, I don't feel terribly embarrassed by how this border has turned out. I know we can do better, and we will. That's just part of the garden's evolution. Thrilled to see so many blooms still on this phlox, and there's not as many butterflies now, but there's still a few lingering around and taking advantage of all this nectar. The north side is looking pretty good. You can see that the Tricertus is really in full bloom right now, which is one of my favorites. Just think it's such an interesting flower. And you know, this little native pocket here looks great. The Coreopsis and the two different species of Rudbeckia continuing to put on a nice show, and pollinators love it. So overall, really quite pleased. I actually have to say the drought, the best thing about the early summer drought was that it kind of prevented these plants from growing too large. Often the Rudbeckia they just get so tall they flop over. I really like them at this size. So it's one advantage of drought stress. And as I make my way up here, I was pleased to see that I did have a few more Lycoris start to bloom. You can see that's sort of the remnants of one right there. I've mentioned this in past tours, but I have literally planted hundreds of Lycoris radiata bulbs. One day, it's all gonna fall into place. I'm gonna have an incredible display. Ah, there's the jumper right there, Miss Sophia. She gets another week or so with her hammock in this spot because we couldn't get the tree work done on yesterday as planned, because we had a massive rainstorm all day long. There she is, showing off her climbing skills. And we do have this oak tree here on the slate to be removed. It's looked bad for a few years, and I'm just not, I'm not willing to look at it anymore. It's okay, there's plenty of other oaks on the property, ones that I planted and ones that are growing natively. So taking two sick ones out isn't really the end of the world. I really love that oak there, which is a hybrid species called Long. I've never done any pruning to it. It's the most perfect columnar oak that I think I have ever seen. Well, without question, the wave is boring, and I think the deer are actually coming in and nibbling on zinnias now, because of course. Yeah, they totally are. I see more that are missing. At least they seem to be leaving the cosmos alone. I would have definitely liked this to have better ground plane coverage. You know, I don't like open mulch space, but it's okay. It is what it is. This bed is also difficult to keep watered enough because it's raised just a little too much, I think. It's also a lot of shade now that these trees have grown, and I have to rethink the summer plant palette. I've decided I am going to do this as a grain bed, a solid grain bed, not trying to mix it with a bunch of stuff, because I think for the winter season, that is the most impactful. So start fresh, see what we can do. I am pleased to see that the fava beans that Aiden planted are growing really well, and it should be interesting to see if we can overwinter them. We're always testing when the best time for planting is. I think in my mind, I think late February, early March is the best time for here, but we wanted to experiment with an August planting, so we'll keep you in the loop. It looks like there's actually some flower buds forming already right here, so that's pretty interesting, where these were planted in August. Well, the pink muhly grass is starting to bloom, which is awesome to invite guests next Saturday. And as we come along here, I haven't really gotten much accomplished out here, so not much to show you in this border, but I am really happy that the native borders are really starting to put on a fall display. You see more pink muhly starting to bloom. The asters are starting to come into color, which is really great. And even the dried seed heads, I think, really offer a lot of architectural appeal. I think next week at this time, the asters are really going to be looking great. This border, I'm quite pleased with this flowering border. Again, the ornamental grasses are in flower. The Verbena bonariensis just look awesome. And I did get some mulch put out this week, so the borders where there's some open space are looking a bit neater. And the berries on the Ilex decidua are incredible. Look at how brilliant red they are. And I love this view with the Rudbeckia and Solidago in the backdrop. So I hope these borders will inspire you to include some great native plants in your gardens as well. We will have a small plant sale next Saturday. I didn't really buy a lot of extra stuff, so it's really more of a seed sale than a plant sale, but we will have some offerings. They are on my website. You can look at that in advance. You see, again, Solidago is really starting to put on a show. Next week at this time, it's going to be spectacular. And that Baltonia over there is really beautiful. I'm really impressed, though, with this pepper plant that is in this container. Look at how many peppers are on this. It's so awesome. And all of the containers here at the Airbnb are looking quite good, very productive, where there's still vegetables, and of course you can't beat coleus for brilliant color. And we do have the plant your own cool season veggie station set up and ready to go. We've got lots of veggie mix on hand, so we'll be able to fill a fabric bag, a root pouch. You're gonna pick 4 vegetables from this great selection that I picked up at Bell's. I've got fertilizer on hand. I've got BT so that you can pre-spray your beautiful grow bags. And we've got 50 bags. So when we run out of bags, the interactive station is over. I do hope you'll participate. It's $25 a bag. And really you'll be able to go home and have some delicious harvests for the fall season. And I wanted to show you that I did get this border mulched, and it looks a lot neater and tidier. It's still not what I want it to be, but that's okay. We're gonna do a major renovation on it this winter. I also did a renovation over here on this bed, and you know, mulch makes such a big difference. Adding some potted mangave, also really great way just to fill in some of the open space. You know, I've really struggled to get this bed established just because it's so incredibly dry. For now, these pots I think kind of totally do the trick. And as we make our way over here to the east meets west border, Still need to fill that up. It's on my list. And these pots look great. Oh, there's a swallowtail. The deer have definitely been in here munching. You can see they love and adore the sweet potatoes. So they just, you know, eat all the foliage off of it, but that's all right. And of course the pycnanthemum remains a pollinator masterpiece. I love how long these blooms last. And yeah, you know, a year ago at this time, all the plants were really small. It just didn't really look the way I wanted it to. And it's incredible in 1 year's time how the plants grow and develop, and suddenly what didn't look like was very nice actually does look great. Well, everybody, I hope that this weekly garden tour will serve as inspiration, and I do hope to see you on Saturday from noon to 4 p.m. during the Fall Open Garden. And be sure to tune in tomorrow to see everything that is growing in the back gardens. As always, thanks so much for watching, and happy gardening.